Welcome to the Marketing Pulpit Show, and I am Robert Gatewood, your host. We are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good of marketing gospel. We're not saving souls, we're saving businesses, saving jobs, saving our community. Now, if I happen to save a soul along the way, don't hold that against me. We'll just call that icing on the cake. Now, the mission at Marketing Pulpit Show is to build strong businesses in our community so that we can put our people to work. And we do that with business development, job creation, and service. So if you ever find yourself in a business crossroads and not sure which way to turn, just turn on the Marketing Pulpit Show because we're on a mission. The show is broadcast live from the illustrious Radio 1 studio. Welcome to the Marketing Pulpit Show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. And I'm here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. I'm not here to save your soul, regardless of how the name of the show sounds. I'm here to save your business. Got the name to honor my dad, who was a Baptist minister who spent most of his years in the pulpit. And as I was coming up with a name for the show, I decided to name the show to honor him. As a matter of fact, it's been 15 years ago, almost to the day, that the Marketing Pulpit launched on Radio 1 in 2010. Wow. Man, how time flies. Welcome to the show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. I am a business developer by trade. I have a company called Gatewood Marketing and Web. I'm also a professor at Prince George's Community College, where I teach marketing, and PR, and digital marketing, and social media and networking, quite a lineup over there. As a matter of fact, I also teach at the Accelerate to Entrepreneurship program. It's a program partnered with the Prince George's Community College, and it's for business owners who are trying to accelerate. Matter of fact, I had a class this past Tuesday. We had about 30 people in the class. That class was packed. But you know what concerned me? There was about 30 people in the class, and I think there was only 2 men. And most of the students, we're in the DC area, so most of the attendees are African American. And that's been a pattern. Now, did I miss a memo or something? Is something happening that I'm not aware of? Because I had another class about a month ago, had about 20, 25 people in it. There was 0 men in the class, full of Black women, a couple Latino women. Anyway, that's got to be a show for another day. But anyway, let me get back on topic here. Something just defying logic. I'm trying to figure what's going on. Anyway, I also have written a couple of books and worked in the government space with the Small Business Administration. I'm on a mission to build businesses and help small companies grow and get their act together. So this show is all about you, the small business owner. And it's full of resources. We bring on guests. You can go back and listen to past shows on Facebook, on YouTube, or go to Marketing Pulpit. You can watch the show live right on the homepage. I am on a mission, and it's more important now than ever since Trump is out here cutting the fool, and with this claim that everything is DEI, anything that's got Black folks in it now is DEI, that people are not qualified, when actually the opposite is true. They're probably more qualified than anybody else. And in the DC area, we're probably going to lose about 34,000 jobs to layoffs. This attack on the federal government workers. It's going to be about $22 billion in payroll is going to be lost nationwide. About 200,000 jobs. And these people got to go somewhere. About 35% of them just going to go to unemployment. About 35% going to go into the private sector. About 15% is going to go into state and local government. About 10% are going to retire. And about 5% are going to become business owners. So it's more important now. As a matter of fact, I had a client bring one of his associates into my office. Matter of fact, 2 days ago. It's a young lady who opted to take the government buyout, and she's about to start her own business. And so he wanted to bring her over here and talk to me. on how to get that business off the ground. So we're going to be seeing more and more of that. And so these are times that you don't want to be left out of the loop, which is why it's more important to get into these networking classes, these certification courses, and things like that, and stay on top of it. There's a lot of things happening now. We got this AI out here. We got things you don't need to be out of the loop. Let me put it that way. I see one of my students here, one of my former students, Ronnie Brown. She was in one of my classes at PG Community College Boss Program. Good morning, Ronnie. Thanks for joining us this morning. I remember you. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Anyway, we have a good class, good show lined up for today. It's also Mother's Day weekend. I want to say Happy Mother's Day in advance to all of the mothers. As a matter of fact, I did a Mother's Day message a few years ago. Instead of having I can't say it better today than I said it back then. So I'm just going to put my message from a few years ago on the stage. Mother's Day. So I want to do a shout. Hang on. Celebrate all of the mothers out there. And I understand it's not an easy task. So to all the mothers, really appreciate you. And we want to dedicate this show to you because it's not, we know, whether you're a mother or if you're by choice or by circumstance, you are a woman and you were not able to have children, but you have also stepped in and helped raise some of these children out here. Sometimes you go by these various names of Nana and Auntie and Godmother and Play Mom and all the different nomenclatures, whatever. We appreciate you. And just know that your work has not gone unnoticed. So thank you to all of the mothers out there. Sometimes I know you don't feel the love, but just know the love is there. Happy Mother's Day. Got a great show lined up today. As a matter of fact, we're going to have a special guest today, Mr. William Maxwell. We're going to talk about book publishing. Many of you folks out here have a book in you, but you're sitting on the fence. You're expecting it to happen, I don't know, through osmosis. You know you have to take some steps. You have to do some things. You have to either get some knowledge, you have to get somebody to do it for you, or you just keep sitting there like most people. They look up, 20 years have passed by. They've got that book in a shoebox somewhere on an old Word document file. And how do you get that book from a blank page to a bestseller, or from the manuscript to the market? As a matter of fact, that's the name of the book. Mr. William Maxwell has authored, and we're going to be excited to bring him onto the show in a few minutes to talk about. We're going to have a little conversation about why do a book in the first place? What should you write about? What's the benefits? Is it just a waste of time? There's so many books out here, but what people don't realize, there's more benefits to a book than just trying to make a couple of coins. So we're going to talk about that coming up in a minute. Also, we're going to talk about, last week we had the first Friday. And if you haven't already, come on out to this first Friday. I'm going to tell you right now to start planning for June 6th, the next first Friday. So the first Friday is an event that's sponsored by BLE Executive Suites and Marketing Pulpit. Miss Bernadette Clay and myself, we facilitate this event. We bring people together. It's a big event. It's growing. So I'm telling you now in advance, just in case we run out of room. So it's the 11:30 on Fridays. And it's over the BLE Largo office. They have 3 locations, one in Largo, one in National Harbor, and one in College Park. So the first Friday is at the Largo Park location. And there's a photo from the one we had back in April. We had had Larry Webb. He's the local director, DC director of the Small Business Administration, the SBA. And so he was there this past back in April. And so the event has grown and grown and grown. And here's that's me right here talking to the group back in April. I usually get up there and open things up. And Ms. Clay, she talks about the law of attraction. It's a big event. So go ahead to BLE Executive Suites, BLESuites.com, or Marketing Pulpit, and click on the banner and go ahead and register now. And we'll keep reminding you as the month moves on. Also down in North Carolina, I was in North Carolina this past weekend. My brother Leon, we did a surprise tribute to him. He has this great nonprofit down in Marvin, North Carolina. They got about a big 15,000 square foot facilities, tennis courts, kitchens, dance floors, a couple of floors, and they got about a $250,000 grant a few years ago from the Greenleaf Foundation, and they are on a roll. So Leon is really touching the lives of many people. So we did a surprise tribute to him. We planned it around that the brothers were going to be singing at this event sponsored by this group. And so for the entire month or two, we've been planning for the brothers to get up there and sing for this organization. But he didn't realize that the organization that we were preparing to sing for was actually one throwing him the big event. Here's a picture, a video of him receiving his award at the event. He was totally caught off guard. And you can see all these people standing up there and with his standing ovation with accolades. And it was really a big event. And we did sing, the brothers did sing, and I was singing. Had a good time at that. Man, you can't beat this stuff. I tell you what, get on your purpose. You start attracting people who are like-minded, and magical things happen. Magical things happen. You can't do this alone. That's why we push these networking events. That's why Marketing Pulpit is here. We're trying to move you off from getting off the thinking about it stage into getting out here doing it. Get out here and do it. Daggone it. Ronnie said her office is in that building. Oh, is that right, Ronnie? All right. Good go, Ronnie. Mr. Brown, thank you for tuning in. He says happy Mother's Day to all the moms, grandmas, aunties, and those who have not birthed a child but still did the mom duties. And we know who those people are. Thank you to all you moms out there. Bless your heart. Also, finally, back to Holla one more time. They're having a big event down in Marvin, North Carolina at the Holla nonprofit. They're having their annual 5K race, and that's tomorrow on June 10th. They also have a literacy event. They call it the Literacy Escape, and they're going to have authors. So it's kind of timing. I was trying to reach out to Leon this morning to get him on the show, but I didn't catch him in time. But so it's called the 5K and the Literacy Escape. That's going to be tomorrow, starting at 8:00 in the morning. And that's a big event that Holla has every year. And I've been down there a couple of times and helped them with the event. And so that's going to be a big event coming up tomorrow down in Marvin, North Carolina. So as you can see, a lot of things are going on. And back to the Mother's Day. Now, you business owners out there who are thinking, well, is there a way I can capitalize on this holiday? Now, capitalizing doesn't sound good to me talking about something like Mother's Day, but you know what I mean. You make some money. You have this business, and think of it as you're providing as much needed service. So even though it's a little late to get into a big promotion, there are some things you can do for this holiday as a business owner. So you might have some themes going on, some promotions going on that you've run in the past. Take that same theme and just slap a Mother's Day theme. Make it to a Mother's Day theme. Take that same promotion, just slap a Mother's Day theme on it, and you are tapping into some of that Mother's Day sentiment. Also, if you're doing social media, go ahead and create yourself a Mother's Day reel or some kind of post, just acknowledging the mothers out there. And that really, little small things like that goes a long way. Some Mother's Day quotes, just put them on your Facebook page, on your Instagram account. Just let the mothers know that you acknowledge them. And if you're an employer, you got moms working for you, you might give them a little time off and maybe give them a cake or something. But anyway, there are ways that you as a business owner can help your brand help show appreciation for your staff and stakeholders by recognizing this Mother's Day, which is, I think, is very important. I know my own mom. I mean, my goodness, she passed away about 2 or 3 years ago, and man, we were very close. Matter of fact, she passed away right around Mother's Day, and it happened during the pandemic. And so, but we had that pandemic just threw so many things into a tailspin. But anyway, to all the moms out there and to all the business owners, there is a chance for you to come together. And many of you business owners are moms. So I'll say a special Mother's Day to you business owners. It's also Small Business Week. To all you small businesses, let's get out here and support each other. Matter of fact, I got to bring William in on this. That's one of his main things. Let me get this brother in here so we can talk about this stuff. Let me bring William Maxwell to the stage. William.
Hey, Robert.
What's happening, man? Welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. And when you start talking about Mother's Day, that kind of reminded me, because I was tight with my mother too, and like yourself, lost her a couple of years ago, and I wish you was here to, see what I'm doing, just like I'm sure you wish yours was here to see what you're doing, and we gotta keep doing what we're supposed to be doing because our parents put us in a position to be able to do what we're doing.
Man, but it's nothing like a mom, no, it, man. It ain't. I tell you, there's nothing like to all you folks to have your mom, hug them, hold them close, and to those who lost your mom, just know that just treasure the time that you had them here, and just make sure you do the right thing because they're looking down on you, looking down there, and making sure that you can continue to make them proud. Let's put it that way. It's never too late to make them proud. William, I was talking about some of the things that was going on. I still got to get you down to North Carolina one day. We had that surprise thing for Leon, man. He was really surprised. He did not know it was coming.
So you actually were able to surprise him this time.
Well, he said he was surprised. This was funny what he said. He said that I said, did you have any? I think the announcer, which my brother Joseph was the MC. He asked Leon, said, did you know it? Were you totally surprised? He said, this was kind of funny. He said, well, I thought it might be. He said, but he had thought it was a celebration for him in the past, and It wasn't. So he said, so he wasn't going to make any assumptions this time around. So anyway, he's a good brother. I have some really good brothers. All the brothers. We have the singing group, the Gateway Brothers, Joseph, Curtis, Daniel, Leon, and myself. And of course, I have a big family. I have 2 more brothers that are not in the group. I have 4 sisters. So I love going down to North Carolina to spend some time with them.
Right.
William, we're going to talk about you have been working with authors almost as long as I've known you. And, I have a lot of clients too who are authors. Some came to me with their books already and didn't know what to do with them. Some came to me, wanted a book and didn't know how to create a book.
Right.
Some have a book, they don't know how to promote it. So I thought this might be a good time to bring on somebody who is down in the weeds on this particular process. So let's first of all, let's have a quick discussion on why somebody might need a book in the first place. What's your take on some of the biggest advantage of somebody even having a book?
Well, there's a number of reasons, Robert, why people go seeking to produce a book. There are a lot of people is a bucket list item, and they have a book in them. They've been thinking about it for years, and a lot of times it happens with a lot of people when they get around retirement age and they figure, okay, I want to kind of do my life story, or I want to do something based on a particular subject that I'm very fond of. So you have that group of people who are looking to do bucket list items. And that's great, but you also have to remember there's a cost associated with that. And if you're doing it as a bucket list item, you just have to realize that, You're not going to be able to do it for free. And even though you may not have intentions of, doing major sales with that product, you still have expenses that are there. You have, if you're not a designer, you have to bring in a designer, someone like myself or you. If you're not somebody who's very set up to do writing, you may need a ghostwriter. And in a lot of cases, people who may have some writing skills, you still need an editor. So there's a lot of moving parts to putting together a book. And one of the things that I always say, that if you have a book on a particular subject matter that you may have an expertise in, the great thing about doing a book is that, say, for example, if you're a real estate agent,
Mm-hmm.
and you're one of the most successful real estate agents in your area. Now, if you were to put together a book about some of the pros and cons and nuances of the real estate industry, now not only do you have the receipts showing that you're one of the best real estate agents in the area, now you have a book to show you are an expert in that particular area. So a lot of times people will take the opportunity to do a book to position themselves better as that go-to person in a particular area that may be crowded with people who, do the same type of work.
Well, you're right, because I look at books, and as like as a marketing professor and as a marketing consultant, I look at book as one of the ultimate forms of content marketing, because particularly nowadays, when you're up against so many people who are going after direct sale, they jump out there, buy one, get one free,
Right.
hire me for your real estate agent. There's so much noise out there. There's so much competition. You have to find what we call a unique selling position, or what we call a degree of separation from that pack. And so if I'm trying to decide between, and this is the whole concept of content marketing, if I'm trying to decide between service provider A and service provider B, they might look alike, walk alike, have the same credentials, but one is a published author. That gives that person an immediate leg up. That person has now kind of separated themselves from the pack. Another thing I like about authors, William, is that I call it, and we've talked about this a lot, it's like it's an expensive business card. So
yeah. And it also, Robert, puts you in a position to slow the potential client down, because see, with digital media, everything's quick.
Right.
Whereas if you have a book and a person purchases a book, their focus and attention now is on the book. You don't have a lot of distractions distracting people from the message that you're trying to present. And a lot of the clients that I've worked with over the years, they've benefited greatly. One of the clients, and you're familiar with this guy, Nathaniel Jordan.
Yeah, okay.
This book, Robert,
he's been on the show a couple of times. Yeah,
he's been on the show, and I just want to let people in the audience know that this brother has sold 7,000 copies of this book strictly from his website and doing his YouTube channel. And the brother sells this book for $40. And the book is a great book because it works. You don't sell 7,000 books like this by accident.
That's exactly right. But, I think that both of us being in the marketing field, we've seen that some of our more successful clients have been authors. And that's not like, for instance, Joe Madison. We both worked with Joe Madison.
Exactly.
I did his logo. I did his website and his PR for many years. He passed away about a little over a year ago. And he wrote one of the last things, I guess, was on his bucket list. He wrote this book, Radioactive.
Radioactive.
And the book it just solidified his position and put a stamp on his legacy. Another one of my clients that we worked on together, Mr. Neely Fuller, he passed away. Matter of fact, this year on February 1st.
Yes.
And his books are, I mean, he like got like a cult following almost. And the books, it's the books that's content keeping his legacy alive. We do a show.
And another one of our mutual clients, brother Tony Browder.
That's exactly right.
I've worked on a few of his books as well, and that brother has pretty much cemented his legacy through his authorship, concerning ancient Kemet. So you can really
Right.
go into kind of showing and spotlighting what you've learned over the years by producing a book that's going to help people overcome some things that they may have not known, these little twists and turns that a person has to go through in order for them to become them.
Exactly. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of cementing legacy, you've been out here beating the pavement for many years and helping people grow and with their branding and their positioning and like myself, a few years ago, I penned a couple of books myself. I wrote a book called Played in Full about 2008. Then I came back a few years ago and did a book called Smarter Than the Boss.
And I have both of those books.
Yeah, and you can get them at Marketing Pulpit. But now I'm proud to announce I've been kind of beating up on you and said, William, when you gonna get a book out here? You got all this knowledge.
I know.
You gotta join the club. Welcome to the club, my brother. So finally,
thank you.
Finally.
And it will be released, God willing, at the end of June. And I will have the website up, wmgraphics.net. That site will be up by the end of this month, and people will be able to pre-order the book at wmgraphics.net. But in the meantime, they can reach me directly at ideagearbywm@gmail.com to place, pre-orders for the book. Because my main mission with the book publishing side, Robert, everybody has a book in them. Mm-hmm. And I'm just trying to help them get it out so that they don't have to, go meet their maker and maker says, how come you never did that book?
Let me ask you this, William. If I know you don't want to give away your entire book, is there any tips, any small anything you can share with the audience about somebody who might be sitting on the fence or somebody who's trying to navigate this process you might share with us today before we get out of here?
Well, real quick, the first thing that a person needs to do is make a decision on whether the book is going to be just a bucket list item. You just want to do it, just say you've published and had a book printed.
Right.
But if it's the second route, which is, you're trying to monetize this effort, you need to sit down and really see if you have a niche that needs to be filled and that you're going to have a market that you can target that's going to make your efforts worth the amount of initial output that you're going to have to do up front. Because again, you will have to spend money to successfully get book sales.
Right.
Because I've seen a lot of people over the years, Robert, they do a book, they're excited initially until they realize they got to roll their sleeves up and put some work in to sell the book. Printing the book, people, you're only at halftime of the game. You have a whole nother half to go.
Yeah.
And the main thing is you want to be able to not only sell your book, but to be in a position where you are constantly having the book reprinted. That's the goal if you're trying to monetize your book.
So I'm going to ask you a couple more questions. Like I said, you don't have to give out the entire book, but thing like the title of the book, how important is that?
It's very important because, to be honest, your title could make or break sales for your book. Because generally speaking, unless you have a large advertising or marketing budget to go out there and really let people know what your book is about, your title can entice a person to want to either A, pick up a book if it's in a physical location, or if they're online, click on a link to find out more about the book or even purchase the book. So your title is basically to sum it up, your title is the thing that's going to pull people into your space.
It's sort of like that thumbnail. Like if you're advertising online or if you're on YouTube, if you have a compelling thumbnail, somebody's going to be more likely to click on your article.
Right.
Or your
it's like the old days, Robert, with album covers.
Right.
If you're in a record store, think about it. If you're in a record store and you're not familiar with the artist, the album cover may strike a chord with you to pull it out the rack, and you may flip it over and then eventually see somebody that you may recognize and say, oh, yeah, I'm going to buy this album.
I'm asking one more question. Yeah, I'm going to tell everybody they have to get the book in June. But self-publishing. Now, you mentioned self-publishing.
Right.
Help folks understand the difference between self-publishing and the other alternatives.
Okay. Well, self-publishing means that you, as the author, have made a decision to go into this book journey without going through a publishing house, which is the alternative, is going through a book publishing house where you may get an agent, you may have someone who's ghostwriting with you through that publishing house. They may even come up with a title for your book.
Right.
I mean, because a lot of times when you're dealing with publishing houses, there are more things that they're going to control that's going to be taken away from you as the author. Right. Whereas when you're doing the self-publishing piece, you have a lot more say in what goes on in terms of title of the book covers, formatting, etc. So you have a lot more leeway with self-publishing than you do if you're going through a publishing house, because 9 times out of 10, the publishing house is going to control what's going on the cover. They're going to have some say in the final decision on title of the book and how it's going to be formatted. So right. You have to, make a decision. Plus, you're going to make more of the profits in the self-publishing side of the equation versus going through a publishing house. In a publishing house also, Robert, you're going to have to go past a lot more hurdles in terms of getting your book published, because they're going to review your manuscript. And if your manuscript doesn't fit their particular niche, now you have to go to another publishing house. So that
right. So there's no guarantee that publishing house.
Yeah, that can be an ongoing journey that, in a lot of cases kind of will get people frustrated, because I've actually had clients who originally started trying to go the publishing house route because they didn't want to do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Well, it's like many other processes. Like if you want to start your own radio show versus going to work for a big radio broadcasting company, the lane is a faster lane to do it yourself, starting a business or working for somebody. Right. So the self-publishing route, you get more control. Things move a lot faster, but you may not get some of the benefit of some of the marketing power and other resources that may come from a big publishing company, but that option is not available to everybody. That's the truth of the matter.
But another great thing, and I talk about this in detail in the book, because of the current tools that are available online, it's kind of leveled the playing field a lot more for self-published authors to be able to get out there and be successful, like a Nathaniel Jordan, like Ashley Parker and others, Joni Ward, that I've done books for.
And Neely Fuller, who's selling books by the cases. I mean, we're not talking about ones. We sell like 60 cases to one client. So,
right.
And he self-published.
And self-published, exactly. So basically, I always encourage people to put together their own website too, because there's a chapter in the book that I go over the pros and cons of having your book on third-party websites. And you know which one I'm talking about. It starts with an A and it ends with an N. So when you put your books in those scenarios, of course, they're going to cut into your profits in a major way.
A lot.
And little known fact, they can actually cut the price of your book without your permission. So if you have your website up, you could be actually in competition with them for selling your book.
And people on that platform could be selling your book. I mean, it's a crazy world out there.
It's crazy. So I always encourage people to, when they go into this venture, make sure that you develop your own website. And then that way, all your social media can be tied directly into your website. Your Facebook, your Instagram, your Pinterest, your LinkedIn, all can be integrated right into your website. So that way you create your own little ecosystem.
And that's important that you mentioned that. And that's why sometimes people come to me and say, well, do I need a website now? Because I have this page on Amazon, I have this Facebook page, or I have this Instagram account. Well, you're at the mercy. Anytime you're on one of those platforms, you're at their mercy, you're under their rules, and they could kick you out. Facebook will put you in jail by saying the wrong thing.
Right.
So you have more flexibility, and it's yours. It's your site. And that's ownership is important.
And that's very important, because you don't have to conform to somebody else's views on whatever it is that you're writing about. So you can pretty much, excuse me 1 minute here, Robert.
All right, go ahead there, William. I'm gonna put William's book up here on the. This is his book, From Manuscript to Market. This is your self-publishing blueprint, and he says the book is going to be published. It's going to be published coming up in June. And William, we're about to wrap it up here, but how can once again let people know how they can get this book when it comes out and how they can reach you?
Well, they can reach me by phone direct at 202-439-6169, or they can email me at ideagearbywm@gmail.com.
And you're also on social media, I understand.
And I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, on Facebook.
Well, William, I want to thank you again, like you said, and thank you again for the many years. Just quickly, let's remind the people that we're celebrating 15 years at the marketing.
Happy anniversary, brother.
The anniversary. And a quick story. I started out the marketing pulpit over Radio 1 in 2010. William was kind of in my ear from the first day, helping me decide what to call the show. And I actually did the show solo for a few months. And I'd be talking to William on the way. I'd be driving over to the studio. William and I kind of bouncing ideas. Then one day I got this bright idea. I said, William, look, damn it, won't you just come on to the studio with me?
I got drafted.
And so for 6 years, William sat there next to me, on the mic at the marketing pulpit. So so it's only fitting that on this 15-year anniversary, and it's almost to the day, William. It was May 10th.
Yeah, it is.
May 10th, 2010. So tomorrow will be exactly 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought it was very fitting, one, to talk about your new book and to congratulate you on your accomplishments and all the things you've done for the small business community.
Thank you.
And also to say thank you for the run we had on the show at Radio One.
We had a good time. I remember all those breakfasts over at
Expectations. Up the street. So man, I'm telling you, folks, there's nothing like partnerships. And if you're trying to get on this business journey, the best thing you can do is to put people around you that can trust you and support you. And that's going to be the best decision you ever made. And I have a long list of people who have filled that role with me over the years, and William is definitely among them. So I want to say thank you again, brother, and happy anniversary for you also for the time we spent on the marketing pulpit radio show over at Radio One.
And I want to thank you again for bringing me along on the ride, and I appreciate it because you did me a favor back in the good old days when you bailed me out for the expo I used to do, and I had to return the favor.
Yeah. One of our mutual clients is on just put a note down here that William made his work shirts, and now he needs some hats. That's our brother Brown.
Brother Brown.
Plumbing.
I got you, Brother Brown.
All right, Brother Brown. Brother Brown's been a phenomenal supporter of the show. He has a great business, Eternity Plumbing. So just good. I mean, just
that's he does great work because he's done work for me.
We've been blessed, William, to be we shared some many clients in common, and they're just good, solid people. And so I just say, let's just keep this thing moving. And I'm going to once again put your book up on the screen so people can see what it looks like and get ready for when it comes out. And that's going to wrap up the show again. William, we'll have you back on, I'm sure, again in the future. It's been a marvelous show. Thank you again. And as always, I'll be back next week also. And once again, I said, don't forget the first Friday is coming up. We have the first Friday the first Friday of every month. And William is usually there. Mr. Brown is there. And we're there handing out cards and building relationships because we're not going to be hampered by anything that the government decides to do or anything the White House or Congress or the Supreme Court. Because we have, like William said, we have our little ecosystem working here and supporting each other. And that's going to continue. And as always, as I close out the show, and Mr. Brown usually helps me out there. Mr. Brown, you're helping me out. Well, if you want to be successful.
I'll help you today, Robert. Got to do those 3 things, right?
That's right. Help me out there, William.
Got to do it at the right time. What's the other one, Robert?
Do the right.
I'm having brain fog here.
Do the right thing. Do it at the right time.
And you got to do it right now.
Do it right. Enough talk. Let's get to work.
Get to work.
All right.